I want to recognize the Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Telecommunications, Ms. Pat Francis, and say to Davidson, my good friend and my former university classmate, thank you for being here today and for sharing those inspiring thoughts with the teachers that are present here. And a special hello to Professor Levy and to Mr. Colley. Hope you're enjoying your stay here. And it's a pleasure seeing you here at the GATE ICT Cadet Training Facility. I want to share with the teachers that are here today. These teachers are receiving, are being allocated laptops for the first time. So for whatever reason, the first time around, you may or may not have been a teacher, you may have been overseas studying, or you may have opted not to participate in the 2020 program we had with Lyme. That was about 4 or 5 years ago. Today, you are the first group under the HEART project as teachers to receive Lenovo laptops, one of which is shown there. And I wanted to share with you just a few words on, what the HEART project is all about. So there are two components, two major sides to HEART, and the HE is the human entrepreneurship part, and the ART is the assistive resource technologies components. All together, there are probably around 16 components. It represents, on the part of Line, a very substantial investment in 2 new networks, an HSPA Plus network, which is a 4G network, which they commissioned last week. And it also represents, on their part, the commitment to light up a 4G LTE network, a 4th generation long-term evolution network here in October of this year, putting Antigua and Barbuda way out in front in terms of preparing our country for the new economy. They will spend approximately $35.4 million putting in hardware, software, training, etc. And on the HEART, the government has signed on to an agreement with Lyme for $9 million EC dollars. Out of the $9 million, $2.4 million is going to the construction, equipping, and operationalization of a new center that will replace the existing school for the blind and visually impaired, which is at the back of the T.N. Kernan School. The new HEART Center will also replace the school for the hearing impaired and the deaf. And I have indicated to my cabinet, to the members of the cabinet, that this facility will also replace the center that is on Factory Road that is called the Vocational and Rehabilitation Center. So this facility will be a modern structure that will cater to individuals with challenges. Some of them are obvious to you and I, and some of them are not so obvious. So we expect that this facility will also cater to persons with Down syndrome, with autism. As you know, autism is an entire spectrum of disorders, and to individuals with motor challenges, physical deformities, and so on. So let me say that the role that Lyme is playing in this regard is absolutely important, and it represents their desire to engage in a genuine public-private people's partnership. I expect construction to start within the coming weeks. When we originally spoke about the HEART Center, it was not envisioned to be as big a structure as we now envision it, so that rather than having 2 or 3 facilities that are all suboptimal, we would go after a single consolidated facility. And we would also, under the HEART project, build some more capacity, some human resource capacity, and we would, as a government, appoint an electronic inclusion champion, and this individual will ensure that the government signs on to the accessible technology charter that we have before us, and to ensure that we set up a good framework for making progress on that agenda that is captured in the Accessible Technology Charter. These individuals with challenges did not ask to be born with them. Some of them have had them as they grew up later on in life. So we'll have the building. We will appoint an electronic inclusion champion, and in addition, 6 other persons will be hired onto this project. And I wanted to spend a few minutes telling you about them today, because many of you may interact with individuals with special needs, special persons. So 2 individuals will be trained in how ICTs can be used to radically empower special needs individuals. In addition, we will hire 2 experts to assist in raising awareness of dyslexia and autism. So that is 4 more persons in addition to the electronic inclusion champion. Further, 2 qualified Antiguans will be trained in the field of clinical education psychology to assist persons with dyslexia, autism, and special needs. And I already have had discussions with some international outfits about making this possible. And we expect that by September 1st of this year, 1 person in each category will begin training. So we have the building, we'll construct the building, we'll get the experts in, and we will use technology to radically empower some of these individuals. They fall into 3 basic groups: those that are still going to school, and those that are out of school and are employed, and those that are out of school and are unemployed, perhaps for one reason or another. Some of them may not have the wherewithal to hold a job, as it were. But we want to commit to them as a government, these individuals, and to ensure that we are in a position to change their lives in a very positive way. I have had, in my previous life as a medical doctor, had the chance to interact with some of these individuals, and I've always felt that as a government we need to commit to them. And what better way to do it than to go after it with a great partner like Lime, build a new structure, get the experts in. And I want to say this: I have heard a lot of talk about a diagnostic clinic. The diagnostic clinic for these individuals will also be housed in that same facility. Okay? So $2.4 million from Lime, part of the $9 million allocation, and government is committing approximately $1.2 million in kind for a total of, I think, $3.6 million or something close to that. We are of the view that that should be enough to build it, equip it, and operationalize it. The allocation for this particular component of HEART is locked. Neither Lime nor government can change their mind. So the pot of money is set, and I am very pleased that that has occurred. So it's not that we're looking for the funding is available. The other components I want us to talk to under the assistive resources technologies would be that several centers in Antigua that offer services to a number of individuals will also be positively impacted, so that any individual with any challenge, physical or otherwise, whether in an institution or at a home, they will benefit. And the first group of outfits that will benefit would be the Adele School, the Clearview Psychiatric Hospital. We have already conducted site visits to the Clearview facility. The Mount St. John's Medical Center has been the recipient of a number of initiatives, both on the previous projects and on this project. As a matter of fact, on the HEART as well, I'll tell you in a moment, and I'm not going to be very long here today, we are also installing video conferencing equipment in most of the ministries, and the Mount St. John's Medical Center will receive one as well. because the Mount St. John's Medical Center has begun postgraduate training in emergency medicine for young doctors. And in addition, it is also recognized as a teaching hospital now. And the interns will avail themselves of continuing medical education opportunities and equipment installation at the Mount St. John's Medical Center and at the Ministries of Tourism and Finance will commence this weekend. So we have the Adele School, the Industrial Workshop for the Blind, the Boys Training School, the Vocational and Rehab Center, in fact, has already received a boost from us. We went in there and provided them with hardware, with high-speed internet, and we provided them with new chairs and tables because we were not satisfied or pleased with what we saw there, and we knew that the construction of the Heart Center would take a few months well, and we do not want to deprive these individuals of an environment that we believe is conducive to their overall development. So the Fines Institute and the St. John's Hospice will also benefit onto this program. And Professor Levy, I am hoping that we might be able to form a parallel collaborative framework there because there is opportunity for us to learn from people who have been there, done that. Now, there are also, these institutions will benefit from software upgrades, hardware upgrades, the world of apps. There are specialized software for blind individuals like the JAWS software. We will work with them and provide high-speed internet, printers, scanners, etc. These institutions that I just named have been allocated under the project 1 million EC dollars. So we plan to spend it wisely to make sure they all are positively impacted. Now, you heard from Davidson about their LTE platform that is due to be launched. And let me say this, that Lime actually was the first company to really partner with us in a very substantial way. The Technology for Early Childhood Education project was one of the first ones. We allocated a notebook to each of the Early Childhood Center administrators about 6 or 7 years ago. Just about a month ago on the Heart, all of these centers received a brand new iPad Air. So we not only did something with them several years ago, we've just begun working with them some more on the Heart project. And I want to speak to you very briefly now about the HE part of Heart, the human entrepreneurship side. So while the focus in the main has been on the assistive resources technologies, we were able to sit with Davidson and his team over 15 to 18 months and fashion a project that we think was worth its salt. And what do I mean by that? There was a win for Lime. Government gave them concessions on the new equipment, and there was win for the society because we wanted to be able to assist vulnerable groups. We wanted to be able to assist those institutions that may not be as optimized as they should be. And it is for that reason that you are here today. Because when I sat with Davidson and his team, I said, look, there are quite a few teachers who have joined the service since we did the 2020 project, and we're receiving these piecemeal requests for laptops. And we've had some teachers who have had mishaps. The screens are cracked. And so rather than approach things in a very piecemeal way, we were able to subsume the allocation of these laptops as part of the Heart project. And the other thing we were able to do here on this component, which you would fall into the component of human entrepreneurship, we're trying to impart high-end skill sets. We were able as well to negotiate where the early childhood centers, as I just said a minute ago, would get the iPads. The teachers, especially those who were getting the opportunity for the first time, would be first in the queue. And the early childhood centers will also benefit from the age-appropriate developmental tools for children, things like building blocks, the alphabet charts, those things that help young kids to develop motor skills. And I want to say this to the teachers. You know, I have a lot of respect for teachers because their labor, teachers are like nurses. Their labor is sometimes unrewarded. And this gesture here on the part of government is twofold. It's to say thanks, but it's also to say we want you to empower yourself, because there's great opportunity for continuing education. There's great opportunity for you to leverage on the world of technology to assist you in imparting your knowledge to your students. And I speak from a little experience. I have two beautiful children. I have a 9-year-old and I have a 6-year-old. And I know what it's like to get homework done and to make sure things are done on time. And to, my son was doing something with me day before yesterday, and I had to say, son, look, I forgot that years ago. You got to ask your mom. They were asking about past principle and, all these fancy terms that I don't really remember now. And I'm being truthful. It's all these past tense and past current tense. And so, I also wanted to say that in every staff room in every school in this country, we've put in a 4G LTE device, and we are leveraging as a government on both the HART project and on the other projects. So there shouldn't be a single staff room in this country that doesn't have access to the internet. And if you know of any, please contact us here at the ministry, and we will put in a device that will enable all the teachers to access the internet in the staff room. Let me also say that Davidson mentioned mobile app development. Well, this is another component of the HART project, and we have committed $0.5 million. We are very serious about having this facility continue to be utilized outside of the traditional 8 o'clock to 4 o'clock setting, and we have done one round of training. And I also want to mention one other thing, if I may, and that is even before we started becoming comfortable with Lime that we were going to sign on to this agreement, we as a government got going in 3 or 4 very important areas. One is in the area of digital photography. We were able to have Professor Levy come down from Ithaca College. We were able to acquire hardware. In fact, just last week we acquired with the assistance of friendly governments. And people sometimes may not understand the importance of how useful it is for a small developing country like Antigua to have relationships with friendly governments. We have been able to acquire approximately $0.4 million worth of equipment last week. Further, we brought in video cameras, we brought in additional Rebel cameras, we brought in Macs, and MacBook Pros, because the Ministry of Telecommunications will commission a new digital laboratory by the end of 2015. We may get it done earlier. This digital lab will focus exclusively on digital content, web journalism, digital photography, digital audio and video productions. We want to create a high-end digital mastering lab for our entertainment industry. And we want to create an environment where young people and those who have an interest understanding that their work can be exported online. This is why we have people like Professor Levy and Mr. Colley here, the cadets who basically finished the first round of training in the GATE program are working on a collaboration where we plan to produce something that is marketable, and I don't want to disclose anything more about that. So we are working in the area of digital media in a big way, and if you have the interest, you can visit, after you've gotten your laptop, the room number 4, which is our digital media studio here. So we plan to commission a facility that is all Mac. I have no bias, but we want to leverage on the powerful world of Apple technology. So we have Apple iPads, we have the MacBook Pros, and we have the iMacs. And we will go after digital. We will go after digital in all its realms. We have started teaching digital graphic design here. We are going to convert it into an entire block in the training program. Audiovisual productions will continue. We are a net contributor to content on the internet. We will no longer just be consumers. Most of the cadets have left because we bus them in and out of town, but some of them are still here this afternoon. We currently have a group of about 65, and we plan to train 500 cadets every 12 months. And that is easily achievable. We are not going to put in the infrastructure, and at 5 o'clock we're going to close the facility. We're going to have a day group and a night group. If we have to bus them, that's what we do. We use the existing infrastructure that the ministry owns, and we just bring in the cadets and we just drop them back at the bus station. In the evening cohort, we will pick them up from a set place, but at the end of the evening, because the bus system may not be working at that time, we will drop them off at their homes. So we actually are moving very aggressively in this area. And I will conclude my brief remarks by telling you this. So there are 3 areas on the business side that we've been focusing on. One is the Young Girls Business Revolution. There is a lot of evidence that suggests that if you expose young girls to business while they're still in high school, especially in forms 3 and 4, they are very likely not just to think that they're going to go out and look for a job, but that they would think business and not just a career. So this is an empowerment program on the heart that is aimed at touching the lives of 100 girls. We already did one of the sessions a few months ago on the heart. We will continue to reach out to young girls in school, and we will also look at those people that have business ideas that want to take it to the next level. We have brought in outfits. We use an outfit called Res Consulting from Trinidad. They've done a great job with us. And we will continue to provide an opportunity for people to come and learn new skills in our startup business workshops for aspiring entrepreneurs. And then there are those people that have existing businesses that want to retool, and we're also providing them with that opportunity. So we're working with small and micro enterprises. I believe in this area there's approximately $250,000 set aside in the HEART project. So as you can see, it's very multifaceted. This particular project will touch the lives of many different people, and there is great potential for us to help to retool, everybody in the public sector. So let me end by saying this. So essentially, we expect that every teacher who did not get a tablet, did not get a laptop in the 2020 program, if you sign up through the Ministry of Education, you'll be allocated. Davidson tells me the next group of, the next batch of the laptops will arrive in 4 to 6 weeks. The only reason we're allocating 50 is that's all we received last week. But every teacher who was not allocated one, and we have our databases here, people can't expect to trick the system. We have our databases. We know who got and who didn't get. We will allocate you a device. So I also want to say then that in the HEART project component where we're allocating iPads to public servants, it's approximately 1,500 iPad Airs that we've brought in collaboration with Lime. And you can do the math. That's approximately 3 million EC dollars just for that component. 1,500 iPads to 1,500 public servants along with high-speed internet. So I said this yesterday and I wanted to repeat it today. We are working towards a master plan in government, and our commitment is to, we're close to signing off on an agreement where we will bring in 22,000 devices into Antigua. And that will deal with, cater to all the other students from Forms 1, let's say going all the way down to grade 1, and all the remaining public servants who would not have received the device. So we are very serious about penetrating the technology to make sure that at the latest, Davidson, by the end of 2015, internet penetration in homes and businesses has exceeded 100%. And then we work on the mobile side with the companies so that you have the mobile device with you and you're connected all the time. We have also been in discussions with a leading space agency. They have an interest in setting up a laboratory in Antigua. And I'm optimistic that we might be able to set up a laboratory because there's job opportunities there in very specialized niche areas. And Davidson spoke about leveraging on technology in the transportation sector. I don't want to go into all the details. I spoke in another forum about that. Put it in a nutshell. We want you, anybody who is using the public transportation system in Antigua, we would like you to be able to use your smartphone and determine where you catch your bus and to what destination. It's very simple. The buses all move around on a set schedule. You should be able to look and see when your next bus is at your next bus stop, and potentially we can collaborate with the companies, and you might be able to pay for the transportation using the same smartphone. I also want to end this way, that let us not take these things for granted. When you have a company like Lime that's committing to investing $35+ million in your economy, that is a sign in my submission that the economy is stable and healthy. And when the same company can negotiate with the government a public-private partnership called HEART and commit $9 million EC dollars over 24 months, it's not to say that they're going to spend we're going to agree for them to give us the $9 million over 10 years. It's locked into a 24-month period. Don't take these things for granted. Lime has come a long way with the government from the days when we took office to where we have a substantial partnership with government, with Lime, and we as a government say to Lime, great job, we will continue to work with you. Look out for discussions on fiber to the home. We've started discussions with a number of companies, including Lime, about putting fiber to the home. The same piece of coaxial cable that goes into your home that gives you cable TV can give you your phone, cable TV, super high-speed internet, closed-circuit TV technology, and a host of other services. And when we say as a government that we mean business in the technology sector, so we can position Antigua really out front. We know tourism will always be the mainstay of our economy, but we have to make sure young and old get retooled. And government's commitment to you today is, we're going to give you the laptop, use it well, sign up with Lime for the internet. $59 is what we agreed with them 5 or 6 years ago. I think that's dirt cheap, because you're getting at least 1 meg of broadband to your home, and that is locked in under the agreement with Lime for a minimum of 3 years. So congratulations, thank you for listening to me, and God bless you. Thank you.